Yo, what's up guys, it's King Sean here, and in today's video, I'll be going over some jersey number changes for some players for the Commanders. So we got two guys that decided to change their jersey numbers, so we'll talk about that. And I'll also be talking about what a Terry McLaurin extension could/will look like. But before we get into today's video, make sure y'all leave a like down below, subscribe if you're not already subbed up, and turn on notifications. And with that out of the way, let's get straight into today's video. Alright, so let's start off with these jersey number changes. Two guys have changed their numbers. First up, we got McCaffrey, who wore number 12 last season, is going to wear number 11 this upcoming season, formerly worn by now Las Vegas Raiders safety Jeremy Chin. So Luke McCaffrey going to number 11. He wore number 10 in college, so I guess he's trying to get closer and closer to getting number 10. Maybe he wears number 10 next year, although I know Casimir Allen, who is on the practice squad, is wearing number 10, I'm pretty sure. So maybe if he's off the team by next year or whenever, Luke McCaffrey wears the number, right? Or goes to 10, right? But we'll see. But 11, it looks clean on him. You know, hopefully he can make him play a little better, you know, look good, play good, feel good, you know. So expecting more from Luke McCaffrey next year. Not sure how big his role will be next year, expanded next year. However, it would be nice to see him get more opportunities next year and just see his role expanded a little bit more next year, just to see his development continue to, you know, go in a good direction, right? So Luke McCaffrey, once again, he is switching his number from number 12 to number 11, and I like number 11. I think it looks pretty clean on him. And then the more significant number change of the two, in my opinion, is Marshon Lattimore going back to number 2. That is the number he wore in college. So really interesting. I think number 2 looks clean on him. Obviously formerly worn by now Jaguars receiver Dyami Brown. They signed him to a 1-year, $10 million deal when free agency opened up. So he's with them. 2 opens up, and Lattimore is deciding to switch from number 23 to number 2. Wonder what made him do this. Obviously, he wasn't amazing for us this past season, but you got to remember he came here mid-season, was dealing with a hamstring issue, and he had really 1 or 2 fully healthy games, the Saints game and the Eagles game, and then he tweaked his hamstring again at the end of the Eagles game, and then from there he just wasn't right last year, right? So hopefully with a full off season, you know, learning the defense, learning the defensive playbook, you know, building just confidence and continuity with all the guys on defense, he can just play better and get back to the Marshon Lattimore who is arguably a top 10 cornerback in the NFL when he is healthy and playing at his best, right? Because he's only 29 years old, actually 28. I'm pretty sure he turns 29 in May. Could be wrong though, but he's still got good football ahead of him, like good years of football ahead of him. Maybe like 3 to 4 years of really good football left in him, right? So he has a chance to get back to form, and maybe him switching to his old number he wore in college at Ohio State, number 2, as you say, look good, feel good, play good, right? So maybe Lattimore switching back to number 2, it'll make him play better or get back to form, and it definitely makes him look better because number 2 is a clean look. Number 23 was a clean look as well, but number 2, that isn't clean look, not gonna lie. So once again, Lattimore is switching back to his college number, number 2. All right, so moving on, let's talk about what a Terry McLaurin contract extension could/will look like, because he's gonna get paid. Adam Peters, he talked about at the league meeting in his press conference, he talked about how he's had really good talks with Terry's agents, and they want Terry to be in Washington for life. I mean, we want him to be in Washington for life for a very long time until the end of his career, right? So I'm confident that they will get something done this offseason. Don't know when, but all I care about is if it gets done, right? Like, I don't really care when it gets done. I just want it to get done, and I'm confident that they will get it done, preferably by training camp, but I just want them to get it done, right? Like, I don't care when. Just get it done and let's move on, right? Because Terry deserves a new deal. And right now, pretty sure he's making like $22 million this year, right? So he is getting underpaid compared to guys that are getting paid more than him, like Jalen Waddle DJ Moore, T. Higgins, Nico Collins, although Nico Collins is a dog, so even Nico Collins, he's honestly getting underpaid. He's only getting $25 million a year. He's better than a lot of the receivers that are getting paid more than him, right? But that's just how the receiver market works. That's why it's better to pay a guy earlier rather than later. So shout out to the Texans because they paid Nico Collins earlier so that they could extend him for cheaper rather than having to wait or waiting and paying him more later down the road, right? Going back to Terry, though, when you look at the receivers that have gotten paid this offseason thus far, there's really two main guys I want to look at, Jamar Chase and DK Metcalf, and really just DK because there's no way Terry's going to receive $40 million a year. I mean, Terry's awesome, right? He had, you could say, the best season of his career this past season. 13 touchdowns in the regular season, 3 in the postseason, so 16 touchdowns. You saw what he could do with Jaden Daniels as his quarterback, an elite quarterback, and you want to keep your QB1 and receiver 1 together. Let them ball out for the next. I mean, Terry, he's 29, turns 30 later this year, so at the very least the next 3 to 4 years, right? Maybe longer than that, depending on, how Terry's performing and where he is later on in his career, right? But when you look at the contracts that have been handed out to receivers this offseason, Jamar Chase, he got $40 million a year. DK Metcalf, he got $33 million a year from the Steelers on his new contract. That's a lot of money, and I would argue, I mean, to me it's not an argument, Terry's better than DK. And so when you look at that, right, if you're Terry and you look at that, you say, hey, I'm better than this dude. I feel like I should get paid more than him, or at least around the money he got, because $33 million a year for DK Metcalf, that's a lot of money. And honestly, I would not be opposed to giving Terry that type of money, because like I just stated, you could say that Terry just had his best season this past season, and he was 29, right? His age 29 season, so it doesn't feel like he's slowing down. So it's definitely reasonable to say that he should be making $30+ million a year. I feel like that's the baseline for a Terry McLaurin extension. I feel like that's the lowest amount he'll be asking for. Maybe 28 mil. Maybe he's willing to take less money, but when you look at the guys that are making $28 to $30 million, DJ Moore, Jalen Waddle, T. Higgins, Brandon Ayuk, Terry is better than all of those guys, to be honest with you. I'd take him over Brandon Ayuk. I'd take him over T. Higgins, Jalen Waddle. DJ Moore, he wasn't as good this past season, but I would probably take Terry over him as well, right? So if you're Terry, you look at this and say, hey, I think I'm better than all these guys, so I think I should be getting paid around what they're getting paid, or maybe even more than that, right? So that would probably be $30+ million a year. The most I probably pay Terry is $33 million a year. I love Terry, but obviously, you don't want to pay him like a crazy amount, and we won't. I don't think he's going to ask for a crazy amount. Terry's not one of those guys, right? And the receiver market, it goes up and up every single year as more guys get paid and as the salary cap increases, right? So if you pay Terry right now, it may not look as bad later on when other guys get paid. Like, I know Garrett Wilson has to get paid, other receivers overall. So 2 to 3 years down the road, the Terry McLaurin extension won't look bad at all because of how many more guys are getting paid and how much money they're getting paid, right? So he'll probably be like the 10th highest paid receiver 2 to 3 years from now because of how many guys are getting paid more money than him, right? Because of obviously more guys getting paid and the salary cap just increasing every single year, right? To me, an estimate of a Terry McLaurin extension would probably be 3 years, $90 million, $30 million guaranteed, or not $30 million guaranteed, sorry, $30 million a year. So 3 years, $90 million, that's $30 million a year. And then as for fully guaranteed money, his last contract guaranteed 49.8% of the money. So I would probably say maybe around that range or a little bit more than that, right? But if we're just talking about a per year basis, I would say $30 million a year for Terry McLaurin is probably what he's going to receive. Maybe he gets a mil or two more than that, right? 31 or 32, maybe even 33. But my prediction is 3 years, $90 million, $30 million a year for Terry McLaurin. So that's it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Comment down below your thoughts on Luke McCaffrey and Marshon Lattimore changing their numbers. Luke McCaffrey is going to 11, and Marshon Lattimore is going to 2. So comment down below your thoughts on them changing their numbers, and comment down below your thoughts or predictions on a Terry McLaurin extension that will most likely get done sometime this offseason. And other than that, it's me, King Sean, and I'm out. Peace.